everybody, thank you so much for being here. I am pumped to do this video. I'm talking about a couple of makeup sets from the line called Besame. So I have their brightening setting powder trio, which is a $25 product at Sephora.com, and also their mini lipstick set of 5 mini lipsticks, 25 bucks, also at Sephora. And this line, I've got to say, I'm getting a low-key like obsession going with this brand. Last night I found their YouTube channel. I was watching all these videos about their products and about just the story behind the brand. There's a great video, I think it's their like spotlighted video on the Besame Cosmetics YouTube channel. You should totally check it out. But to give you a little background, just in a nutshell, Besame means kiss me in Spanish, and this brand was created by Gabriela Hernandez. She grew up in Argentina, moved to the United States when she was a young girl, like early teens. She works with her husband and her daughter, and you can see them in that video that I mentioned on the YouTube channel, and that's precious. I love that idea. Her daughter is so cute, and it's neat to see her like really being involved in the process. But Gabriela spoke about this era when glamour was so valued, and like her grandmother would not leave the house without lipstick on, and I love that kind of feeling. And she said this whole line was inspired by a time when makeup was a treasured experience and when people really treasured their makeup products that they had. And going back to like the 1920s, the 30s, the 40s, 50s, 60s, throughout all of those decades, what she says she noticed from that time was more simplicity, a very traditional style of makeup where people weren't using, you know, dozens of products on their face every day. They had a few key things like a powder or a lipstick that would really accent their look and be just what they needed. It's this feeling of a look that is beautifully glamorous and old Hollywood, but yet incredibly simple, you know, for what it is. And I love the thought of the, you know, treasuring the experience of putting on makeup. That's completely in my soul, you know, that's who I am. And I think it's neat to see a brand really focusing in on just some key things. So if you look on Sephora's site, there aren't a ton of products being sold from Besame on there. They've got their setting powders, they've got their lipsticks, couple of brushes maybe, but there's not this whole like big spectrum of products. Now you go to the Besame Cosmetics website and you can see a few more offerings there. They've got some pressed powders there that I'm really interested in trying, some powder and cream blushes that I think just look gorgeous. So right down to the packaging, they're trying to make this a very vintage inspired line. Lipsticks are a total cornerstone of this line, and it's so cool because if you look through what they've made, what they're offering and selling in their brand, they are actual replicas. She goes in, Gabriela seeks out vintage makeup products. You can see her in this video like swatching out the product, trying to discover exactly what kinds of pigments are in there, and then she does these recreations of lipsticks that were popular in those certain eras, in those certain years. And I just think that is so cool. And she addressed the fact that her line contains a lot of reds, and that's because in, you know, a lot of these eras that she was looking into, you know, the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, people were wearing nothing but reds. There would be slight variations in the tones or the trend, you know, that people were going toward, but red lipstick was where it was at. And frankly, you know, it doesn't get much more glamorous than a great red lip. So I'm going to stop chattering on and on about the backstory for a minute and just tell you about the products I am here to review. So the brightening setting powders. These are a product that I'd seen floating around on Sephora, you know, being sold individually for some time. I think when you get a full-size powder, you also get a puff that comes with them. Here, you're just getting the powders. There's 0.1 ounce in each one of these, and you're getting to sample 3 totally different tones, and they've got those right here on the side. These tones are extremely accurate and representative of what the different tones of powder are that you get. So one is more pinky toned, one has a yellowish tone, and one has this violet, very, very soft lilac tone. And the lids just twist off. You're looking at a really just traditional sifter type of jar here, but I think when you buy a full size, not only do you have the puff, but they have like a little plastic lid that comes down and keeps product from going everywhere, and so that can be helpful too. But you definitely utilize the lid, I think, tapping out some of the product, and then use a brush, sponge, puff to apply it. Another interesting thing about these powders, they each have a very soft scent, which I find to be very pleasant, and I really enjoy that aspect of these powders because it's not overboard, it's not fumey. I've applied all all of these powders up very close to my eye area, and there's no like sensitivity there. It's just super duper soft. But the Vanilla Rose is said to be a soft powder with pink tint that helps control green and blue tones in the skin. Then you've got the Vanilla, and this is the one that has the slight yellowish cast to it. And this says a velvety powder with yellow tint that helps control redness and has a light vanilla scent. And then your Violet is a translucent violet powder that color corrects yellow and red tones and brightens any skin tone. Has a subtle violet fragrance. I really think what was probably holding me back from purchasing a full size of one of these before was just not being sure which one would really be best for my skin, which one I needed the most. So a $25 sampler that gives me all three, I think is the absolute way to go if you have any unsure feelings about which might be best for you. What I found, and I think I mentioned this in another video, I feel like the Vanilla Rose and the Violet, so your pinky tone powder and your very, very light lilac powder, are super brightening. Not that they don't all have a brightening quality to them, but these kind of go next level in terms of being a great powder under the eye area. The Vanilla one works there too, but I feel like I enjoy this one even more just all over my face, and that might be because I can use it around my nose. This is supposed to counteract the redness a little bit more, so if you notice like redness peeking through on your T-zone, this can kind of mattify and perfect that area. These are not glowy powders, they are matte, however I don't think they look unnaturally heavy on the skin. And I was paying attention to some videos from the brand where I could really see these products being applied and see what their intended use was. And it seems that I wouldn't call it baking, but they put on a healthy amount of the product, like with a puff, or you could use a sponge or a brush, whatever application you really want to use. But they put on quite a bit. They just kind of set it all over the skin like you would see a good amount of powder, and then they sort of dusted it away with a finishing brush, which is actually sold by this line. It's like a $50 brush. It looks so cool. It is inspired by the exact kind of brushes like the old Hollywood starlets may have had on their vanity table. I so want that. I may have to ask for that for Christmas. But they kind of just lightly use that all over the skin to sort of blend in / dust away excess. So what I feel like they're doing is maybe a lighter, less intense take on the baking trend that we see a lot of people doing these days. For me, for everyday wear, I find just a light dusting with a brush, just boom, 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 just hit the under eye area. Either of these two powders I really like in that way. And like I said, this one lightly all over the skin. But today I really wanted to follow a little bit more like their traditional application. So I went with the Vanilla Rose on my under eye area today. And with this one, it does say it can control green and blue tones. And you know, I have a little bit of a bluish tone on my under eye area. So I just used a sponge. I used the flat side of my mini Real Techniques sponge and dabbed this on. And then once it was on, I just gave it a light dusting away. And I do feel like it was nice and brightening. However, I don't really feel the need to apply that much product on a regular basis there. Just my opinion on that product. And then I lightly applied the Vanilla, like I said, around the T-zone area, anywhere else on my skin that I wanted to, you know, set my makeup. But I totally enjoy the experimentation, the variety that you have here. You can kind of mess around with them. You can mix the colors if you want to, and really just figure out what is the perfect shade for you and in what parts of your skin can you most take advantage of a lilac powder or the rose. But they're all pretty dang brightening, so that's nice to see. And then I think outside of this little collection, I think they do have some deeper shades available as well. But this little trio I think is a total home run. Really pleased with the way my skin looks where I have applied it, and I think it wears well throughout the day, doesn't look too heavy. Now let's move on to the mini lipstick set, and I've got the lipsticks out of here, but this is what that little packaging looks like. And you're getting 5 of Besame Cosmetics signature vintage colors in this special holiday set, and they are all minis, and they are in plastic packaging. I don't have a full-size Besame lipstick, and I've heard those are in more of a metal packaging, so these are plastic, but you have that gorgeous gold tube with the red floral design, and then there's a little lever right here. And can you see the cut of the lipstick bullet? I like that they kept their signature cut the same, even though these are downsized, you know, little minis. They've got this like flattened edge on both sides that sort of comes up to a point in the center. And that's very interesting, and that does take a little getting used to if you're used to just the classic pointed lipstick bullet, but I like it. And I think once you get used to this, it sort of helps you really shape a nice Cupid's bow, and it gives you a really nice clean line around the like outside of your lips. These lipsticks have the best like just soft vanilla scent to them, nothing obnoxious. But to describe the feel of these going on your lips, 4 out of the 5 have a really like creamy consistency. It's not creamy greasy, it just transfers to the lips with such full color, and maybe it's because every shade has, I think, an element of boldness to it, so you really get the satisfaction of just kind of going once across your lips and seeing a lot of color laid down, very rich. Now when I said 4 out of the 5, the one labeled Cherry Red in this lineup, the 1935 inspired color, that one seems to be more of a total matte finish. While it's still a cream lipstick, I can tell there's a little more dryness in the formula, and it just doesn't have that same like little bit of shine that all the others seem to have. But another useful thing I found as I was perusing their YouTube channel the other day was the actual suggested way to apply a Besame lipstick. So I want to show you that. I tried that with the Red Velvet shade, which is right in the middle of this lineup. So really true red. This is very creamy, and they say to apply the product all over your lips. Then you're going to give it a quick blot onto a tissue. Then you apply a generous amount of the lipstick all over the lips again, give it another blot, and that is the way they say to apply their lipsticks. And I have worn several of these with that application process, and it makes a huge difference because it's almost like you're locking in sort of a stain on your lips. You're helping that product kind of start to stain even before it's had a chance to have any wear time at all. I really think that method helps them wear evenly, helps take away any sort of slippery feel on the lips, which not that these even feel slippery at all. I mean, the creams really adhere as you apply them. They don't feel like they're weak and thin and too light. But if I'm wearing a red like this, I want to trust that that red is going to stay in place for me. And I think doing that double blot technique really helps. So I wanted to show you one applied that way, but as far as the rest of these, just going through and trying each one on for you, I just did like one application all over the lips because I wasn't looking to lock these colors in as I do lip swatch after lip swatch. You know, I want to be able to remove it and remove it as fully as I can so I can put the next one on for you. Just FYI, I think the double blot is a great method and can definitely be used with any of your cream lipsticks that you maybe worry a little bit about staying power wise. Do that, and I feel like I can easily get through half to 2/3 of a day with a pretty fresh looking lip. These are not really marketed as long wear lip products, and if you want the freshest look, you're probably going to want to touch up by about midday. But you know what? Who cares? These are adorable, and they take up like no room in a pocket, in a purse, in a clutch, and frankly, I feel very glamorous putting one of these on, so yay. But I'm going to take you through all the colors. I would normally go light to dark in lip swatches, but here I feel I must stay in the order of the years that they give here. So I will start with the 1930 inspired Noir Red. Really, really dark, gorgeous color. My goodness. Applied to its fullest extent, it looks super dark, but as it fades, you start to see more of that red coming through in the color. Next one is 1935, and that's the Cherry Red that I described as being more of a matte finish. It just feels like a classic matte lipstick as I apply it. It's got a little more dryness to it. I like having a different finish because you've got a couple of reds in here, and the 1935 Cherry Red is giving you a slightly cooler look and a matte finish. And then we move into the 1946 Red Velvet shade, which I've been wearing throughout the video and also demonstrated in the double blot technique. But this one is creamier and it's a little bit warmer, and I just think it's an unbeatable red. Oh, do I feel so glam in this color. And then we move into the 1969 shade called Dusty Rose. This I love as well. I can't decide if I like Red Velvet or Dusty Rose better in this collection. Oh my gosh, is this a beautiful, saturated, deep, rosy shade. I love it, and I think it adds a lot of great variety to this set. And then Chocolate Kiss, which I was wearing in a recent video, had so much great feedback on this shade. This is like a deep, caramely, kind of brownish, dusty red shade. Did I throw in enough adjectives there? Very, very creamy. Well, we've had the reds, we've had a dark color, we've had a pink, and now here's something that's a little more neutral. But you know what I love about each and every color in this set? They all have their own unique glamour. They really all are a statement type of lip product. When you put them on, they do stand out on your face. They are designed to, and I like, you know, doing this simple eye, putting on some lashes maybe, getting my brow done. I've got my matte finish on my skin, and then just let that lip color steal the dang show. I love it, and what better time to experiment with shades like this than wintertime, fall, holidays. Love. $25 samplers, particularly when samplers allow you to try things that actually exist in the regular line, so you're getting a sense of what the brand truly makes. And if you used one of these up, fell in love with one certain shade, you could go back after it in a full size. I love that. That's one of the most useful things brands can do for themselves, I think. People can learn about their line, spend some time with it in their own time, not just at a makeup counter or in a Sephora, and really understand what they like best. So I am thoroughly impressed with Besame. I am kind of infatuated by this line, as I've said. Thank you guys so much for your time and for just spending a little bit of your day with me. If you enjoyed this video, I feel like we have kind of a soul connection here, because I'm geeking out makeup wise on these products. And yeah, if you've tried anything from this line, you've got any recommendations you want to share with me and others, please let us know in the comments section, and I will talk to you guys very soon. Bye.